Right, 22 October 2025, and today I'm very excited to be giving you the evening clarity updates so that you can go to bed understanding what's important and what is not. So as I promised, I've got a very, very important update and announcement to make tonight. And that announcement is that M31 has officially notified the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, and we've presented all the requirements as a political party in Zimbabwe. So the M31 is going to be recognized as a political party, and its symbols have now been presented to ZEC, and the registered symbol of the M31 coalition is this. So if you see this one here, this is our symbol that we're going to be using on all elections, and we've therefore been registered. Well, we don't register in Zimbabwe, we've therefore notified ZEC that we're going to be a political party that is going to contest in elections. So starting very soon, we're going to be giving you a roadmap, and on Friday, I'm going to be making a very important announcement regarding the next steps, and it's going to be very, very quick. We're going to do so well. We need a strong opposition party in Zimbabwe. So that is amazing. The M31 Zimbabwe has now been notified to ZEC as a political party. We've presented all the requirements, and you obviously cannot use the same symbol as us. So just be aware that is what has happened, and it's amazing. Everyone is so excited about this new development. Now let's quickly go to the very important story that is currently taking place right now, and that is the response that has been given to Chiwenga, another one. So remember that Ziyambi Ziyambi responded to Chiwenga, and unfortunately that response seemed not to have been enough to address the issues that were raised by Chiwenga. Chiwenga presented a dossier to the Politburo of ZANU-PF, and in his responses, he mentioned that Mnangagwa was not a constitutionalist and wanted to amend the constitution so that he can go into office and stay for 10 more years. Chiwenga also indicated that Mnangagwa was holding private meetings with certain people at his private offices, and he was doing things that are not in line with the constitution, and so on and so on. He gave a lot of information, including a document called Breaking Barriers Initiatives. So to give you more context, I have spoken a lot about this document earlier this day, but there is another document that has now been released. So the government of Zimbabwe, through Ziyambi Ziyambi, have released another response to Chiwenga, and this is the response that they've put out over here. It's very small, but we've transcribed it for you on GAMBAKWE. So if you go to gambakwe.com, you'll see that we've transcribed this response. So I'm going to read it for you. They have responded and said there are going to be constitutional amendments, but they are going to say what are the constitutional amendments in due course. They've said that it's not the way that this document says. And remember, Chiwenga said this is unconstitutional. It was being done through Jonathan Moyo and so forth. And Ziyambi Ziyambi has responded. So let me read his press statement for you very quickly. But Chiwenga has also put out more documents this evening. So through his own people, Chiwenga has put out more documents supporting that this is indeed legit and Ziyambi Ziyambi is lying. So let me show you what has been said here. So in this document, it says, press statement, it has come to my attention that a document entitled Breaking Barriers Initiative, bearing no named author and allegedly referenced in a protected dossier recently submitted to the Presidium of the governing ZANU-PF by Chiwenga, is being disseminated widely across social media platforms. Such dissemination is accompanied by unsubstantiated, unverified, and unsupported assertions that the document constitutes an authentic representation of the official stance of the ZANU-PF and the government of Zimbabwe regarding proposed amendments to the Constitution of Zimbabwe, intended to implement and give effect to the Parliamentary Resolution number 1, first adopted in October 2024. Whereas multiple submissions from legal practitioners, experts, and scholars have been tendered proposing sundry amendments and procedural mechanisms for the implementation of the resolution, and with submissions having been presented since November 2024, some directly to the party, others to Parliament, to my office, and whereas no determination has been rendered to adopt, endorse, or advance any such proposals, my office is not able to comment on or verify the authenticity of the circulating document, which may, in all likelihood, be spurious, fabricated, or manipulated, particularly in light of the dubious source of its disclosure. Once the relevant authorities make a decision on the precise amendments to be made in the process of their enactment into law, the public will be appropriately and transparently informed. Until then, any fascination or preoccupation with the document reportedly leaked from dubious sources and lacking a named author is a total waste of time and an unfortunate disservice to the national interest. In the meantime, the public's advised to be guided accordingly. As Ziyambi Ziyambi, Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. So as I said, Mnangagwa's only people have put in place their own response. So let me show you the response. What has been shown to debunk what Ziyambi Ziyambi is saying is minutes of a meeting and a briefing that took place between Glenn Mpani, supposedly, and Ziyambi Ziyambi. So there is more detail. Remember, I told you what we're looking at is not the full document. So on 12 July 2025, that is approximately 7 months or 8 months after the document was presented, Glenn Mpani and Ziyambi Ziyambi had a meeting under which various questions were asked. And these are very important questions and answers. So it says the briefing for the Honorable Ziyambi. This brief addresses the following separate but interrelated questions that are crucial to and for the understanding of the proposed omnibus amendments to the Constitution. Listen very carefully. Question number 1. Would the proposed transition from the direct election of the President to an indirect election of the Parliament following the proposal or repeal of Section 92 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe require the resignation of the sitting President? So the answer here is no vacuum. So Mnangagwa will not be required to step down. You can go to GAMBAKWE and read the detail. I won't read it aloud here. Then the procedure which is going to be followed is as follows. Mnangagwa is going to be deemed to have been elected for a new 5-year term in 2025, which will end in 2030. The President, therefore, won't need to be re-elected by Parliament. There will be no referendum required, and there will be a cooling off period of 10 years. So there will be 10 years when in Zimbabwe there are no elections, and the term of Parliament, this current Parliament, will be in place for 10 years. So for the next 10 years, there will be no elections in Zimbabwe, according to what was presented by Glenn Mpani to Mnangagwa. So that is the response as it stands. Ziyambi Ziyambi has said he said directly. Chiwenga has presented the dossier, so he said it. That dossier is not correct. That is what he says, and he has denied that this is what ZANU-PF. Okay, he has not denied. He has refused to deny or agree. He is in between. So I am expecting a quick response, because this all has to happen before February. So by February, everything should be done according to the timetable. In fact, according to the initial timetable, everything was supposed to have ended by December. So December 23, to be correct, everything was supposed to have ended. So we are going to see a quick movement. Today is 22 October. So that gives us November and December. That is 2 months exactly. In the next 8 weeks, everything must go down. So everything must go down in the next 8 weeks. Right, I think we've covered everything. I've got a guest. So let me recap what we said. We said the M31 Zimbabwe has now presented a document all the documents to ZEC that is required to notify ZEC of the existence of a political party. So going forward, M31 Zimbabwe is going to be contesting elections. And as you are aware, GAMBAKWE 2028, I am the presidential candidate for GAMBAKWE 2028. However, negotiations are still ongoing with many other parties. As you are aware, this is a coalition. So negotiations are ongoing, but as it stands right now, I've got a very important announcement that we're going to make on Friday that is related to this step that we've taken. I'm now going to be welcoming my guest. Are you ready? Show me your hand, guest. Okay, fantastic. So I'm welcoming my guest over here, and then we'll see what is going to happen. So let me remove our picture so that we can see you. Right. How are you doing, General Ruende?
GAMBAKWE, I'm good, and you? I'm very well, and I'm excited to be here.
Fantastic. Where have you been?
GAMBAKWE, we've been there. We are operating in the shadows. Since you know, when you operate open in the plain spaces, you'll be sitting dark. So we decided to operate underground. Sezumbambaira kuti kana choputika chinoputika chichiita a sound that will scare away the vouchers that we know vari kunzi zvigananda. It is a crucial time and a crossroad whereby we have to make a decision now for a better Zimbabwe.
Okay, let's quickly wrap up. It's a night, people want to sleep. What do you want to say? And where do you see this situation going?
GAMBAKWE, this is a very complex issue, but it's a very small thing. Everyone is looking at the constitution, what is ZANU-PF is going to do. Everyone is looking at the law. But if you look at things, Mnangagwa has been to Russia, he has been to so many countries, and he has gotten some ideas. And at the very top of these ideas, there's one idea that is superior to all. Asking the question that how did Putin came to rule for this term, and the second term that is coming? He's going to rule for the next 30 years. What did he do? First thing is you have a parliament in place that can pass the bills, which means you need a bill that is going to do away with Section 328, Section 91, and Section 95. All in all, you need a bill that is going to do away with the referendum. You need a bill that is going to do away with the incumbent not benefiting from the provisions. And at the same time, it has to be constitutional. So what exactly can you do in that situation? One, you need to draft a bill. After drafting a bill, before it's introduced to the parliament, the president will step down and put a dummy president, like Putin did. He put a dummy president, he took his vice president and made him a president, a ceremonial president, just a placeholder. Then the bill will be introduced to the parliament. And remember, Mnangagwa controls the parliament. He has 2/3 majority plus the opposition that decided to join him, which means he will have 51% of the parliament, close to the 2/3 majority. And in the Senate, he only needs 40 votes to pass the same bill. Then from there, it is passed to Justice Malaba. We all know what happened to Justice Malaba. He owes Mnangagwa a favor, which means he will legalize that bill and Mnangagwa will sign it. It's not Mnangagwa who is going to sign it. It's going to be signed by his president, the one that is going to put as a placeholder, which means after the placeholder signed the bill into action, he's no longer the incumbent. The placeholder will now give back the seat to Mnangagwa, and he will be there for the next 10 years or next 5 years. So you will find out that he will actually legalize the whole process. It will go through the right channels where it will go to the parliament, it will go to the Senate, it will go to the judiciary, and it will be signed in as a law. So stop looking at the possibilities in the current situation. They are busy cooking another situation. And as we speak, Mnangagwa has a tendency of indicating right, and he makes a U-turn on the left. You understand? And at the same time, ZANU-PF, they are those people who don't want to lose power. Once you test power, I think it corrupts you, or it messes up with your head. The ZANU-PF people, if you look at Garwe, he has tested power now, and he wants to remain in that power, in that vacuum. And at the same time, these people can't let go of anything. And they're forgetting the suffering of the ordinary Zimbabwean people. We don't want Mnangagwa to go to 2030. We have given him his chance, 10 years. It's a long time for him to be a president. Anyone, if we give you 10 years, it's a long time to be in that job. But are they protecting Mnangagwa's job, or are they protecting ZANU-PF? None of the above. They are protecting what they have accumulated over time. Because if another president comes, for instance, Chiwenga is talking about the corrupt leaders. You want to arrest all corrupt leaders. You want to arrest all the corrupt businessmen. So if you put Chiwenga as a president, you will lose everything that you have accumulated over time. They will run all of them. So they don't want that. They want to protect what they have stolen. So they will have to find a way now, and a way that they will legalize. We are all looking at a grand theft in time when when our kids read about this. They will find out that all of this, we were there, and we failed to do something. This is the time for us Zimbabweans to tell them that it's enough. We know ZANU-PF is the custodian of the liberation struggle, but that's not a passport to run Zimbabwe. That's not a passport to be a leader in Zimbabwe.
Okay, fantastic. So, General, I'm going to have to let you go. In the evenings, we don't go long. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
What I want to say before we go is this is the time for us Zimbabweans to come together as Zimbabwean people, regardless of our political diversities. We are Zimbabwean people, and at the same time, we have to come together, whether you are in Ndebele, a Shona, a Tonga, a Karanga, or a Swin. It does not matter. As long as you have a birth certificate that calls you a Zimbabwean, you have a right to a trust fund that was entrusted to us by our forefathers. So let's come together in a movement for people, in a movement for a better Zimbabwe, in a movement that will give every Zimbabwe a right to speak out, a right to an economical and social warfare, a movement that will give everyone a chance to gain their rights, a movement that will give everyone the power to choose the leaders they want, not to be told who to choose and what to do, because we are all entrusted to the same Zimbabwe. They fought for us, but they don't have a right to tell us what to do. If you fought for us, let us rule ourselves, or go and give back the country wherever you liberated it from, and we shall do it ourselves. We were not born by the time you did it. So let us do it for ourselves also. Go and put it back wherever it was, and we shall liberate it ourselves. So let's come together as Zimbabwean people. And
all right, thank you very much, General. I'll see you again very, very soon. Let's wrap it up because it's quite late here.
Thank you, Gambakwe, and thank you, the viewers.
Thank you very much. All right, so I think I'm so sorry. We normally say we must do this very quickly in the evenings, so we're going to have to go. Let's recap. We said the M31 Zimbabwe political party has now notified the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, and we're now going to be starting the process of contesting elections. We're going to give you an update on Friday, so we'll give you information about what we're going to do next or the roadmap. So it's amazing. We've got an opposition party now that is active and available for everybody. But in the meantime, we've got a pressing issue, which is the Mnangagwa third term, and we'll be dealing with it every single day. I would like to thank all of you for your support, and please go and look at all the other things that we've produced today. We've produced a lot of content. Tomorrow, we're going to be uncovering the detail. As you can see, there's more detail coming. On the amendments, we're going to be watching the environment. Mnangagwa planning to go to 2035. So the current amendment goes up to 2035. And Ziyambi Ziyambi has responded this evening and said they will let Zimbabweans know. So under this proposal, Mnangagwa is going to become a new president in 2025. By the 23rd of December, Mnangagwa will become a new president with a new term. They will ignore the current term, and then there will be a cooling off period of 10 years. During that 10 years, there's no elections in Zimbabwe, and Mnangagwa will run as a new president until 2030, after which probably Tagwire is going to come in and then go to 2035. And then we'll have an election in 2035. There are many, many more amendments under an omnibus bill, and this is proposed by a company called Shikamu, which is owned by a Zimbabwean called Glenn Mupani, and it is said that is connected to Jonathan Moyo. I've given those details, and this is the man in question. The man you're talking about here is the man that is proposed all this. His company has proposed this, and he's responsible for the victory of the current government of Lesotho. And as I said, someone with a lot of experience. He's been to Harvard, he's been all over the place. I showed you all this in the afternoon, but let's watch and look very carefully. This is going to be drama. Chiwenga is the man to watch. Today he was speaking. I'll show you tomorrow what Chiwenga did today, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and a good night to you all.